Excuse me.
Right, June?
Oh, hi.
All set?
Yeah, it just feels funny not being there in uniform.
You got no worries. Rock solid.
Look, Tony, this isn't us and them. It's me against Warwick. It's a private action. I just want you to say what happened, that's all.
Of course. Warwick's brief.
No, she's mine.
Good luck.
All those involved in Ackland versus Warwick to court 1, please.
Members of the jury, you are called to hear the indictment against Everton Warwick, which contains one count of assault occasioning actual bodily harm, contrary to Section 47 of the Offences Against the Person Act, 1861.
He's on a Judge Embry. Well, that's the result anyway. He hates acquittals.
What were you doing on the afternoon of Thursday, the 31st of January, 1991?
I was on patrol in the area car. That's the rapid response vehicle. I was crewing with my colleague, PC Loxton.
And whilst on patrol, did you receive a radio call?
Yes, it was to go to an incident at the Jasmine Allen estate.
Do you remember what time that was?
I logged the call at 15:39.
That's approximately 20 minutes to 4.
Yes, that's
And
correct.
what time did you arrive at the estate?
Oh, less than 2 minutes later.
Could you please tell the court exactly what happened when you did arrive?
Yes, we drove up the access road behind the shopping precinct.
Mr. McCoofer, do we by any chance have a sketch map of the estate available?
We do, Your Honour. Copies have been distributed to members of the jury.
But not to me.
My apologies, Your Honour.
Thank you. Carry on.
Your Honour. Miss Ackland, could you tell the court why you and PC Loxton drove to the shopping precinct?
Yes, there's a club in the precinct. The radio call was to assist 2 other officers already on the scene.
At the club?
Outside it, yes. They'd tried to arrest a suspected person on the estate and he'd taken refuge in the club. Our information was that they'd been refused access to the club and that a hostile crowd was gathering.
So your intention basically was to rescue those 2 officers from potentially difficult situations?
Yes.
And did you achieve this?
Well, not immediately, no. As we arrived, a youth fitting the description of the suspected person came out the back of one of the shop units. We pursued him and we apprehended him in the adjacent garage area. While we were doing this, a crowd came running round from the shopping precinct.
When you say a crowd, are you able to estimate how many?
It was about 20. I mean, there wasn't time to count.
And did this crowd behave towards you in a friendly manner?
No, they were shouting and spitting at us.
There was a concerted attempt to prevent the arrested man from being removed from the estate.
Yes.
Did you personally have hold of the arrested man at this time?
Yes, I did. I had hold of his right arm. He wasn't being very cooperative.
And as you were placing him into the van, did someone try to release your grip on him?
Yes, they did.
Are you able to identify that person?
Yes, I am. It was the defendant.
Mr. Warwick?
Yes.
Can you tell the court exactly what he did, please?
Well, initially he grabbed hold of my right forearm and he pulled it. The whole situation had got much worse by then. The crowd weren't just pushing and shoving, they were punching and kicking as well.
Just answer the questions, thank you, Miss Ackland.
And what did you do when Mr. Warwick pulled your arm?
Well, I just hung on to the arrested man and I tried to shake Mr. Warwick off. But then he grabbed hold of my right arm and he swung me against the garage door. He then punched me in the stomach, and as I doubled over, he hit me in the face.
Were your injuries later examined by both the police surgeon and a doctor at St. Hugh's Hospital?
Yes, they were.
And as a result of those examinations, were you certified medically unfit for duty for a total of 14 days due to bruising to the face and abdomen?
Yes, I was.
Thank you, Miss Ackland.
Mr. Langley.
Miss Ackland, Was the suspect whose arrest was central to the disturbance you have described subsequently charged with any offence?
No, sir.
So in a sense, the injuries you received were unnecessary as well as unpleasant.
The arrest was lawful, sir.
Yes, I'm sure. How many police officers were present at the time you were injured?
5, sir, including myself.
That included the 2 who were initially deemed in need of assistance inside the shopping precinct.
PC Stamp and WPC French, yes.
So that when the persons gathered outside the club decamped to the garage area, these 2 officers did so as well?
Yes.
Who was the 5th police officer?
The van driver, PC Quinnan.
How many of you were actually involved in placing the arrested man inside the police van?
3. It was myself, PC Quinnan and PC Loxton.
It took 3 of you?
Yes, as I said, he wasn't being very cooperative.
He resisted?
Strongly.
He demanded your full attention?
Yes.
While a violent melee was going on around you?
Yes.
Miss Ackland, the garage area where this mayhem took place, is it outside in the open air?
No, it's underneath one of the blocks of flats.
Not in broad daylight, then?
It's artificially lit.
I put it to you, Miss Ackland, that the garage area is rather poorly lit. Notoriously so. In fact, members of the jury have been provided with copies of a letter dated November 1990 from the Jasmine Allen Tenants Association to the council housing officer asking for improvements to the garage area lighting to be made.
The light was adequate.
Local residents are of a different opinion, which suggests to me that there is doubt on the matter. Were no other members of the crowd of similar age, build, mode of dress, or colour to Mr. Warwick?
Possibly.
Then it is not even remotely possible that you are mistaken?
No. I was assaulted by Mr. Warwick.
PC Stamp, how close to Miss Ackland were you when she was assaulted?
I was right in front of her.
You had a clear sight of her assailant.
I did, yes.
Can you identify him?
Yes, ma'am. It was Mr. Warwick.
Thank you, PC Stamp.
PC Stamp, could I ask you to cast your mind back to a previous incident on the Jasmine Allen estate? Did you attend a suspected car theft there at approximately 11:30 a.m. on Monday, the 3rd of December, 1990?
I did.
In the course of your investigation, did Mr. Warwick appear on the scene?
With respect, Your Honour, this line of questioning has no relevance to the assault on Miss Ackland.
Your Honour, I submit that the nature of this previous meeting between PC Stamp and the defendant is of great relevance, particularly with regard to the certainty of his identification.
Or you may continue, Mr. Langley, as long as you've considered the possible consequences.
I'm obliged, Your Honour. PC Stamp, on the occasion of this previous meeting, did a heated exchange take place between you and Mr. Warwick?
I asked him to mind his own business. I wouldn't say that it was a heated exchange.
Well, I won't press you for the exact words used. Could I just ask you this? As a result of what passed between you, did Mr. Warwick lodge a formal complaint against you for racial harassment? Just answer the question, please, yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, moving forward to the 31st of January in the assault on Miss Ackland, Mr. Warwick was arrested then and there on the spot. Is that correct?
It is.
Was no other member of the crowd arrested?
No.
Not even for obstructing the police in the course of their duty?
No.
Breach of the peace? Nothing?
No, sir.
Why was that?
I don't quite follow.
A violent disturbance has been described. You and your fellow officers were under attack. And yet out of some 20 persons apparently breaking the law, only one was arrested.
As you say, we were under attack. We were outnumbered. We had to withdraw quickly.
Were any other members of the crowd previously known to you besides Mr. Warwick?
A few, yes.
Well, could not they have been arrested later? If they were culpable, if they could be identified in the gloom. Why is it, PC Stamp, that while some 19 go free, the full weight of police certainty of blame is laid at Mr. Warwick's door?
Because he assaulted WPC Ackland.
No more questions of this witness, thank you, Your Honour.
PC Stamp, as a result of the complaint made against you by Mr. Warwick, have you been the subject of any disciplinary proceedings?
No, ma'am.
The complaint has been dismissed.
Not yet, Your Honour, but I expect it to be. Sir.
How's it going?
Answer the question, please. Yes or no? Judge allowed mention of the complaint.
Well, that was on the cards. At least June's brief can reply in kind.
She's no match for Langley. He's just taken the mick.
PC Quinnan, were you, like PC Stamp, acquainted with the defendant before the afternoon of the 31st of January?
Yes, I was.
Were you, in fact, present with PC Stamp on a previous call to the Jasmine Allen estate on Monday, the 3rd of December, 1990?
Yes, a car theft.
As a result of events on that date, were you, like PC Stamp, made the subject of a formal complaint by Mr. Warwick claiming racial harassment?
Yes.
The result of that complaint is doubtless still unresolved.
It is, sir, yes.
PC Quinnan, on the afternoon of the 31st of January, your response time in the van seems to have been almost identical to that of the area car. How did you manage that?
Well, it was an all-unit shout. You just go whatever vehicle you're driving.
I see. You weren't hovering then, hoping for a little sport on the estate or a little revenge?
No, sir. I was returning to Sun Hill when a call for assistance came up, to which I responded.
Thank you, PC Quinnan. You are to be commended for your diligence.
Ms. McCoofer, do you wish to re-examine?
No, Your Honour. That concludes the case for the prosecution. May PC Quinnan be released?
You may.
I'm obliged.
Saw him off, no problem. Pity you couldn't have done it without smiling all the time.
Your Honour, I shall be calling only one witness for the defence, the defendant himself, Everton Warwick.
Take the book in your right hand and say the words on the card.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Can you give your full name and address, please?
Everton Francis Warwick, 51 Bayliss House on Jasmine Allen Estate.
Mr. Warwick, at 2 p.m. on the afternoon of Thursday, the 31st of January 1991, did you attend a meeting at Sun Hill Police Station?
Yes.
In what capacity did you attend?
As a community representative.
You were invited there by senior police officers?
Yes.
And what was the purpose of the meeting?
To discuss the policing of the estate.
Jasmine Allen Estate?
Yeah.
You were there as an invited guest with other members of the community to discuss in a constructive manner how aspects of law and order on the estate could best be dealt with. Is that a fair summary?
Yes.
What time did you return home?
I got home about 3 o'clock.
Were you at the Jasmine Club at approximately 3:35 p.m?
Yep.
Was there a disturbance outside at around that time?
Yes, and there were 2 police there. A man and a woman. The man was trying to push his way into the club.
Did you recognise him?
Him. PC Stamp.
PC Stamp. Did he speak to you?
Yes, he said, "Just for once, sunshine, you keep this out, okay?"
I see. Did he say why he wanted to enter the club?
He was chasing Mo Meldrum.
If it please your honour, Mo Meldrum is the young man whose arrest by Miss Ackland and PC Loxton preceded the assault of which the defendant is charged. Now, it can be argued that Mr. Meldrum is a material witness, but the defence feels no need of his testimony and he has not been called.
Ms. McCoofer?
Your Honour, the prosecution shares the defence's view of the usefulness of calling Mr. Meldrum.
Because he's a lying little scrote and all.
Very well, if you're both content. Hang on, Mr. Langley.
I'm obliged, Your Honour. Mr. Warwick, is Mo Meldrum known to you personally?
Yes.
Was he in the club at the time referred to?
For a few seconds. He ran straight through and out the back.
Did you tell PC Stamp this?
I didn't get a chance. We heard the police sirens coming out the access road. Everyone ran round to meet him.
Including you?
Yes.
Why did you do that?
I was angry, like everyone else.
Angry about what?
We get all these promises from the police about being sensitive. But things are as bad as ever, the way they treat us.
You felt the police were being heavy-handed in their response to alleged crime on the estate?
Yes, and I was afraid for Mo as well.
Mr. Meldrum?
How he was going to be handled if they caught him.
You were in the middle of the crowd that milled round the van, the police officers and Mr. Meldrum?
I was, yes.
Mr. Warwick, during the course of this angry demonstration, did you grab hold of Miss Ackland's arm?
No.
Did you punch her?
No.
Did you lay hands on her in any way?
No.
Are you able to tell the court who in fact did commit these acts?
No, I was in the middle of the crowd. I didn't see a thing.
Thank you, Mr. Warwick.
With respect, Your Honour, before I commence cross-examination of this witness, there is a point of law I should like to raise.
Go on, girl, screw him.
Members of the jury, there is a point of law to be discussed which need not concern you. If you'd like to stretch your legs for a few moments, you'll be called back as soon as possible. You may sit down if you wish, Mr. Warwick.
I'll see you later. What's up with Jane? We're going well.
Your Honour, in view of the fact that the character and credibility of both corroborative prosecution witnesses has been called into doubt by my learned friend, I would respectfully ask that I now be allowed to cross-examine the defendant in respect of his previous convictions.
You were warned of the possible consequences at the time, Mr. Langley.
Your Honour.
Permission granted.
Yeah.
Is this your first appearance in a court of law, Mr. Warwick?
No.
No. Is it not a fact you have a number of previous convictions? Could you answer, please?
3.
On 12th of April 1990 at Old Street Magistrates Court, fined £100 for possession of cannabis. On 3rd of August 1989, also at Old Street, fined £50 for breach of the peace. On 16th of May 1988 at Southwark Crown Court, sentenced to 3 months imprisonment, suspended for 12 months for theft. And on each of these occasions, you pleaded not guilty. Is that correct? Mr. Warwick?
Yes.
Is it not also correct that the complaints of racial harassment currently outstanding against PC Stamp and PC Quinnan are not the first such complaints you've made? Did you, in July 1989, make a complaint against an officer of the West End Central Division? And was that complaint dismissed as being without foundation?
Yes, it was dismissed. They were all dismissed. What chance have we got against Babylon?
Sierra Oscar from Sierra Oscar 1, receiving.
Receiving, sir. What's the score?
June's got the witnesses, they've got the front.
Mr. Warwick himself admits to having been at the scene, but denies his guilt. You have heard something of Mr. Warwick's past record, and are entitled to draw your own conclusions to his trustworthiness. No such doubts have been raised about Miss Ackland herself. No suggestion has been made that she's either vindictive or dishonest. No suggestion has been made that she was part of any fit-up. A quietly efficient police officer with 12 years unblemished service has been assaulted and has clearly identified her assailant. Members of the jury, if you believe her to be telling the truth, you will have no reasonable doubt that the defendant is guilty.
Mr. Langley.
Your Honour. Members of the jury. In essence, this is a very simple case. All kinds of tensions and emotions may surround it, as you will have gleaned from some of the evidence you have heard. But the one single fact upon which you have to decide is this. Was Mr. Warwick, beyond all reasonable doubt, the person who assaulted Miss Ackland? I suggest to you, members of the jury, that there is reasonable doubt. Out of that angry crowd of 20, why was only one man arrested? And why was that man Everton Warwick? You have heard that Mr. Warwick has a criminal record, but you have also heard that on the very day of the assault, he was the guest of senior officers at Sun Hill Police Station. My learned friend is quite right when she tells you there is no suggestion whatever that Miss Ackland is either vindictive or dishonest. I suggest to you, members of the jury, that Miss Ackland is simply mistaken. That in the middle of a violent, frightening melee in semi-darkness, she glimpsed a face. And that her colleague's certainty became her certainty. Now, if you conclude that it is possible Miss Ackland was mistaken, and possible that PC's stamp and quinine were more zealous than accurate, then you will have reasonable doubt that the defendant is guilty. And that, members of the jury, is all you need.
She wouldn't have said it.
All over?
Nah, jury's out.
What are they like?
Average. It's only 2 blacks.
Where's June?
She's round the course.
Hello, Sarge.
They're coming on to give you some moral support. They promised not to throw any beer cans. How's it going?
Oh, I don't know. You sit there listening to the defence, and half the time I wonder whether you imagined it all.
What's the brief like?
Oh, she's fine. Yeah, no complaints.
Defendant will stand. Members of the jury, will your foreperson please stand? Please answer this question, yes or no. Have you reached a verdict on which you are all agreed?
Yes.
Please answer the question, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty of assault?
Not guilty.
Can we move? It's a travesty. The whole system's on their side.
Just leave it, Tony.
I'll have him next time. I'll do a really professional job.
You mean you will fit him up?
June, he's given you a hiding and walked away from it.
Yeah, why?
Because what is laughingly called the criminal justice system has got naff all to do with justice. It's all about Ponzi briefs playing word games.
No, it's all about juries listening to people like you and thinking, I bet he can tell porkies if he has to.
So it's all down to me?
Yes, it bloody is. If you want a jury to believe you, then tell the truth.
I did.
Every time, even when it hurts.
Yeah, all right. You two better get back. Come on, sir. Let me down the Swan. June, drown your sorrows.
No, there's nothing to drown. I gave it a go. That's it. You did warn me.
I'm glad you didn't take my advice, honest.
Yeah, look, I really appreciate you all coming along. Thanks very much.
Anytime.
I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks.
Exactly. Yeah!